Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all other genders. You know, we got to be inclusive on this show. We got to include everybody. We have got some interesting things to talk about today. A decision that I did foresee and I was hoping for, but not something I thought I'd see in my lifetime when I was a younger man. So we'll be talking about that. We are also going to be talking about Ottawa County, what all our options are for the elections coming up. They're in November, people. They're coming up on us fast. We are going to be looking at all of the things that you have to be voting on. Also, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusions Office is also involved in our school board. So, what does Diversity, Equity, and Inclusions Office have to do with our school board? Well, we'll soon find out. I'm Anon Don. This is the Holmes Politicast. All right. Welcome back to the Holmes Politicast. I'm getting better at doing this every week, which is probably nicer for some of you. Definitely helps keep the listener base, going, thinking I'm going to do stuff, which is always nice. Doing stuff is nice. So I want to start with what I'm here for. I'm here to keep you informed on what is going on politically in Ottawa County, Michigan. We don't have very many outlets that are doing that from a conservative viewpoint. So that's what I'm here for. If you're living in Ottawa County or living in Michigan, it'd be great for you to give me a follow. Like me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, on YouTube, on I don't really use Instagram. If you have a Snapchat, though, or no, not a Snapchat. What is the other one? TikTok. I post videos on there sometimes. So all of those are avenues for you to follow. Also, you can just follow the podcast. I have a podcast that some of my listeners follow me on. So all of that is available and open to you. If you want to be following all of the elections in Michigan this year, give me a follow. So that's what I want to start with. We've got a few things going on, a few elections in Michigan. Let me make sure that I've got, there it is, what's on the ballot. So we've got, obviously, the governor race. My favorite is Garrett Soldano. We've got a couple other good options. Ryan Kelly is one. Tudor Dixon, I don't really know much about. Ralph Rebant, I don't know. I haven't heard much from him. Kevin Rinke, I haven't heard much from. Gretchen Whitmer, definitely my favorite Democrat candidate. Also the only Democrat candidate. So the governor is one that we followed before. That's actually what we've started following. I've had a lot on the show about Garrett Soldano. A little bit about Ryan Kelly. We talked about him getting arrested a couple of weeks ago by the FBI in a what I think was a political hit job. So we've got that going on. We've got congressional state representatives. So representatives for our state to the nation in Congress. We've got we've got a challenger from the Democrat Party here, Hillary Scholten, I believe. Hopefully she doesn't have a chance. Peter Meyer is the Republican that's there now. He's kind of a squish, one of those moderate Republicans that they say they're a Republican, but then they don't do a whole lot to conserve freedom and liberty. So John Gibbs is running against him. I have communicated with his office. We may get an interview from him. I doubt we're going to get one from Peter Meyer, but I'm still working on it. So in the state senator category, we've got Democrat David LeGrand. This is specifically just for my district. So you may have to go and look for your own district. We've got Keith Hinkle as the challenger to Mark Huizinga. Mark Huizinga is currently our state representative representing our district to the state. We've got representative in state legislature, Luke Meerman, and Sharon McConnon is running against him as a Democrat. Luke Meerman is our state representative right now, so he's the incumbent. We've got the county commissioners meeting, or the county commissioners, 8th district, Greg DeYoung and Sylvia Rohde. I'm still working on getting an interview from Sylvia. Greg DeYoung, we're going to be talking to Monday. I will have a full interview with Greg DeYoung up. I'm going to be asking him about laws that pertain to shutting down Libertas School. I'm going to be asking him about this DEI office, their implicit bias training, why the DEI officer is also on the board of the board of education. That was interesting to me. I just found that out literally today, so that was quite the revelation. And we've got a delegate to county convention. So these delegates are people that work in our district. They work directly with like the county commissioner, the representatives, the state senators. So definitely, I'm definitely going to be talking to all of them. So yeah, there's what your this is kind of what your ballot will look like. If you are not in Allendale Township Precinct 2, then you will have obviously a few different, maybe your well, if you're in West Michigan, 3rd District, your representative in Congress will be the same. Obviously, if you're not in the 30th District, your state senator is going to be different. 89th District, your representative in the state legislature will be different. Very specific county commissioner. If you're in Ottawa County, there's 11 commissioners running. And your delegates are even more specific than that. Your delegates are like within the districts of county commissioners. So that gets very specific. You can go to the Michigan Voter Information Center, mvic.sos.state.michigan.us/public ballot. If you go there, actually, okay, so this is where you start off from. Michigan.gov/sos/elections/upcoming election-information. For those that are listening to just the podcast, if you're on video, of course, you can see where the link right here. You can copy that. I'll leave it up for a second so you can just pause it and get into that. You can go to the August 2nd, 2020 election. This will give you all of the candidates for everything ever. We don't want that because that's way too specific. This I got from you just search My Ballot 2020 Michigan. Go down here to what's on the ballot, Michigan Voter Information Center. It will take you to this screen as soon as it loads. I'm streaming, so loading stuff is hard. So here it is. Election, you want state primary, that's the only one coming up. You go to your county, your jurisdiction, your precinct, you put all that information in, and out will pop that little thing that I just showed you. That is a great way to look at everything that you've got going on in your district to keep you informed on what's going to be on your ballot. Got to have enough coffee to keep me going for today. So now it's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The next thing I wanted to talk about. So we're still in Ottawa County. We're going to probably stay here for a second. Ottawa County Commissioners. Let's see here. So we've got public comment. I am just going to check on something real quick while this is playing to make sure that we've got all of our sound working over here at the Homes Politicast. I say we. What I really mean is me. But I know you can hear me very well, but I'm not sure if this is going to play. So give me, if it doesn't start playing, bear with me. It'll take about 8-9 seconds for me to figure out that it's not working. So just bear with me and I will fix it immediately. So we go to public comments for the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners meeting. This is June 14th. This was last week. Yeah. So not this last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that, the one where I met Matt Fenske. So again, Matt Fenske, Board of Commissioners, District 9. I've got a full interview up with him. You can go look at that. I've got a commentary on my last week's show. You can go and you can check that out. It's up in 2 parts on YouTube. But here we go. Ottawa County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's interesting what they talk about in the commissioners meeting and what they don't talk about. I'm going to play an extensive clip. So just bear with me, and then we're going to talk about it.
Good afternoon, Terry.
Good afternoon. I'm Terry White, Robinson Township. First, I'd like to thank Commissioner Dannenberg and Commissioner Holtfloor for stopping after our meeting last week and talking to us. Again, I'm going to address the structure of the DEI office, centering in on the national partners and sponsors. Michael Bloomberg, the New American Economy, is in a partnership fund with the Democracy Fund Voice, which is a 501c4. This fund is owned by Pierre Omidyar, owner of eBay. Pierre Omidyar also owns Omidyar Group. This is where multiple funds are located that are dealing with reimagining capitalism. That should be a surprise to small business community. Realize the system they have risked their own money and time is being reimagined. I have asked who oversights the financials of this DEI office and was told the Board of Commissioners does or the administrator. I would think it would be hard for the administrator to do it, seeing that the DEI office is in the same office space as he is. So I would guess it would be the Board of Commissioners. The reason I ask is because private third-party nonprofit influence sponsorships partners are coming into the DEI office, and the second page of the DEI website indicates nonprofits, which 501c3s, are encouraged to apply for something from this office. Please be transparent on this arrangement, on who and or what is benefiting from this structure. Thank you very much.
So just kind of a recap of what's going on there. The DEI office is funding things that we're not sure about, that this lady's not sure about, that I'm not sure about. So that's something that I can possibly be looking into. That's something that I'm definitely going to pursue, looking into, what is the DEI office funding? Who are they funding? Where exactly is our money going? This DEI offices are already suspect enough. And of course, when we get to Miss Robin I don't remember. My goodness, I wish I could remember her name. When we get to Miss Robin Afric, yes, Mrs. Robin Afric, we will be discussing that a little bit. But so the DEI office essentially is funding things. We want to know what it is. The board of directors does not choose to discuss this in this meeting. Let's see what they do choose to discuss in this meeting. They make it a very high priority.
Thank you.
Next is Jill Verstag, City of Holland.
Welcome, Jill.
Thank you. Well done on the name. It's great.
That's
Friends,
good
good
microphone,
afternoon.
not
My name
mine.
is Jill Verstag. I serve as the president and CEO of Evergreen Commons in Holland. It is a privilege to be with you today. I come to you as stewards of the American Rescue Plan Act, as those to whom much has been entrusted. As our county commissioners, you have people
one I
entrusted to
care
your
about.
care. Women and men.
She just brought kind of brown
Our
nosing
community.
commissioners.
In 10 to 15 years, people will be able to.
Holiday.
This is the one.
Susan O'Connor, a 58th District Court employee.
Welcome, Susan.
Thank you for allowing me to come here today. I'm very nervous. I'm not a public speaker, so I'll do the best I can. I'm not sure how many of you are aware that
Bear
the
with me.
Michigan
This is
Supreme
a bit
Court
longer of a
declared
clip.
June 19th as Juneteenth Day. It is a day that the courts are required to shut down for a holiday. I did some research with some other counties, and all counties that are required to close their courts are paying their employees. Ottawa County is not paying us to be off. We are being required to use either PTO, unpaid leave, or try to make up the hours that you're scheduled to work on that Monday. I've had a lot of concerns brought to me as a
So you get
union
the idea.
representative. They've come to me with their concerns on.
You get the idea. They're not paying the courts for Juneteenth, not paying court employees.
That's all I have for public comment right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
They get right on that. Here it is.
We'll entertain a motion for the approval of our agenda today.
So move. Or, Mr. Chair, what if we could have a amendment to the agenda to add that to the discussion?
See?
I believe it's.
See, they want to amend that, add that to the discussion. Ugh. We're at, my goodness, please excuse me. So we're adding to the discussion, court payments for Juneteenth. So we're adding to the discussion why we're not paying our court employees for, a fake holiday. And we are not adding to the discussion clarity about what the DEI office is funding, what third parties they're funding. I find that interesting. We're going to add to the discussion paying more for our employees that are working at the courts, or rather not working at the courts, but we're not going to add to the discussion what our DEI office is funding with our taxpayer money. Interesting decision from the Board of Commissioners there. So now you get, so that also gives you a little taste of the kind of boring crap that I enjoy. I listened to the entire hour and 14 minutes of that, specifically to bring to Ottawa County the things that they care about, the news that they need to know. Yeah, you got to go through a ton of boring litigation to find out what your county's doing. I'm interested in that. Maybe you're not. Maybe you watch a 40-minute show every week to find out exactly what your county's doing. I don't know. Maybe. It's up to you. Hit that like button if that's the kind of thing you want to know about without going through the hours of stupid litigation that a citizen journalist may be going through for you. So next we have got, that's really all I wanted to point out, was that the county commissioners have got their priorities in order, and they may not line up with the priorities of their constituents. We'll see. All right. So next we've got the biggest news, I think, in the county, has leftists out rioting in the streets, protesting, destroying crisis pregnancy centers. Of course, you won't see any of that in the mainstream media. They are very, 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 very upset about this. And of course, I am speaking of the Supreme Court ruling against Roe versus Wade. And what I want to focus on is not so much the ruling. Everybody knows what the ruling is. And of course, everybody knows what the media is going to do with it. Fix this ruling. Stop. The voters can stop this ridiculous thing. So we go to the Detroit Free Press, the leftist bastion in Detroit. Of course, they're all kind of leftist bastions, bulwarks against the right and against freedom and democracy and life. And so we go to the editorial from the Detroit Free Press, saying that that we can fix this. We can fix this. So, in a 6-3 ruling Friday, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned its decision in Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1937 case that granted American women the right to end a pregnancy. Let's put that into real words. They granted American women the right to kill their child. So, it is a titanic shift for all Americans of childbearing age. Well, maybe. Roe has been the law of the land for their entire lives. The implications of this court's decisions reach beyond whether any individual has the choice to end a pregnancy. The right the court conferred in Roe is bodily autonomy. Well, except for the baby's body, but we'll move past that. And I didn't really see much bodily autonomy when they were forcing us all into masks a couple years ago, when specifically this paper was trying to convince all of America or all of Michigan that they needed a mask on their face. The Supreme Court's decision to vacate its decision. The Supreme Court's decision to vacate its decision in Roe versus Wade. My goodness. Sometimes their writings just make me laugh. Means our state's courts and voters must act swiftly to preserve the reproductive rights of Michigan women. Now, reproductive rights is a misnomer. Reproduction has already happened when there's a baby in the womb. These are not reproductive rights. This would be a right to end reproduction, to stop the development of the child that has been reproduced. So, of course, the misnomer is lost on the Detroit Free Press because they've been using it for years, and they believe that women killing their child is a reproductive right. Now, I want to be clear at this point. I'm not saying that women are murderers if they've had an abortion. I have been a part of an abortion. I have had a girlfriend that had an abortion. Now, the psychological impact that had on her broke my heart. She could not walk past the baby aisle without feeling like a murderer. And not because not because anybody was calling her a murderer. Not a single person called her a murderer. She got no flack for it whatsoever. So it's not the flack from Republicans that makes women feel like murderers. It's the fact that they had a life in their womb. They knew it. I knew it. And yet we ended it. Because we weren't ready to be mature and be parents. So, if there are women watching that have had an abortion, I sympathize with you. I do. I know the pain that you've been through, or a little bit of it anyway. But I still think that this decision was the right one for the court to make. All right. So we continue. In Michigan, the High Court's repudiation of Roe v. Wade could revive a 1931 statute that made ending an unwanted pregnancy a felony. I like how they dance around the issue so much. Ending an unwanted pregnancy. Unless state Supreme Court justice intervenes, more than 2 million Michigan women of childbearing age would be forced to carry unwanted or medically doomed pregnancies to term. Mostly unwanted. Medically doomed pregnancies are statistically not very common. So, we continue. The recriminalization of abortion may just be the first in a cascade of rulings that eviscerate other privacy-based rights not explicitly enumerated in the Constitution. I like how they throw that in there as if it's really helpful to their case. They're not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution. Yeah, you're right, they're not. Because they're not in there. They're not even hinted at in the Constitution. In fact, the Constitution gives people the right to life. So, the Constitution and our founding fathers would be absolutely aghast at the idea that a woman can go to a doctor and that doctor can tear the arms and legs off of her child in the womb, crush its head, and then suck out its body with a vacuum. They would be aghast at that. So, not explicitly enumerated in the Constitution. Writing for the majority, Alito attempts to ward off that fate, saying that the demise of Roe should not presage the overturn of other landmark cases like Griswold versus Connecticut, and Essenstand versus Bayard rulings that barred states from restricting access to birth control, or Obergefell versus Hodges, striking down laws against same-sex marriage. Now, obviously, this is the case. Obviously, the Supreme Court, just because they say that a baby has a right to life, or that, actually, they didn't even decide that. The decision was that states could make laws for themselves. Right? So, I mean, Obergefell versus Hodges, I think should be overturned. The states should have the right to define marriage how they want. Barring states from restriction to access to birth control, I don't know, that one's a little bit more dicey. I think birth control definitely helps control, like my wife takes birth control because her hormones are just crazy. Her periods are extremely heavy. That is what birth control was first introduced to do, was to regulate periods, to make them less cumbersome for women that have very heavy periods. So I can see that as actually, like, that actually prevents birth, right? Abortion ends a pregnancy. It destroys the person that has already been reproduced. There's a difference between stopping reproduction before it happens and quote unquote stopping reproduction after it happens. So we continue. But in concurrence, Justice Clarence Thomas argues the reverse. The court's ruling in Dobbs, he writes, ought to prompt the review of another due process case. So Dobbs, they didn't even mention that until now. So champions of reproductive freedom have been preparing for this day since former President Donald Trump appointed 3 anti-abortion conservatives to the court. And their efforts took on greater urgency this spring when a leaked draft opinion presaged today's ruling. Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Planned Parenthood of Michigan have asked the state courts to declare that Michigan's 91-year-old abortion ban violates the state constitution. So I like how, again, the governor, the executive branch, is trying to legislate. The executive branch is using the judicial branch to try and change legislation. What the heck is wrong with these people? We've got a constitution that clearly lays out what the purpose of each branch of government is. And now we've got, again, the executive branch going totally against the legislative branch in collusion with the judicial branch. This is not how the separation of powers was supposed to play out. This is not how laws are supposed to be made or repealed, right? We got a law repealed that Governor Whitmer was abusing by a ballot initiative. Why doesn't she try a ballot initiative? Because it'll fail in Michigan. She's not going to get all these signatures to end to get rid of these abortion laws. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing because we don't need to. I'm a woman, not a womb. Yeah. What is a woman? That's my question. This lady probably would not be able to tell me what a woman is. I like how this dude right behind her has "I am the pro-life generation" t-shirt right behind her. Looks like a young guy. He's not all wrinkly. Wonder what he has in his hand. Anyway, his face is being covered up by this woman that's very upset. The 7-2 Supreme Court majority in Roe versus Wade was on solid ground. Oh, wait, no, I'm not going to continue with this. That's right. So Roe versus Wade is gone. The arguments against it have been thoroughly eviscerated by pro-life people. You cannot just argue that you have the right to murder a child. And that's not what this country is going to be about anymore. So we have a few people to thank for this. Donald Trump, for one. Donald Trump, while he may have been extremely unpopular, he did appoint 3 conservative judges to the courts in order to overturn this ruling. So, thank you, Donald Trump. We also have the Senate Republicans who held off confirming Merrick Garland to allow President Trump to appoint a conservative judge that would interpret the Constitution correctly instead of the way he wanted it. So, while the Senate Republicans may be a bunch of squishes on a lot of issues, while some of them may have capitulated to gun control in just the past couple weeks, we have the Senate Republicans to thank for this ruling. We also have the judges to thank. Wow, they have been just grossly attacked by the left. And of course, in stories that you heard about for like maybe half a second, but the attacks, I mean, Alito had to go into hiding. Brett Kavanaugh had a guy show up at his house with zip ties and a gun. Like, these leftists are going crazy over this. And now we've got rioting, of course, in the streets. I think Los Angeles, they were throwing firecrackers at cops. We've had attacks on crisis pregnancy centers since the leaking of the decision. So leftists, again, it's almost like BLM riots. You know, they don't get their way and they just go into a tizzy and they start destroying things. So congratulations to all of the people that were involved in this decision. It is a landmark decision that will go down in history as the best choice America has ever made. Now, of course, Dana Nessel, the lady that wants drag queens in schools, is super afraid that it's not just abortion at stake here. So she's scared that gay marriage could again be made illegal in Michigan. And it's not even that gay marriage was ever illegal. We just had a definition of marriage, and gays could get a public union that did the exact same thing as marriage. We just didn't call it marriage. Again, Dana Nessel, when Dana Nessel says that she doesn't want drag queens in schools, I might take something that she says seriously. So we continue. So we have this one more thing about abortion. Is it actually illegal in Michigan right now? We've had some confusing things go on, right? So we have 1931 law, but we also have an injunction from a judge. So is it still legal to go and get an abortion in Michigan? Yes, it is. A Michigan Court of Claims judge on Tuesday, it wasn't on Tuesday, it was like, let's see, on Tuesday, so it would have been last month, May 14th or 15th, something like that. This Court of Claims judge granted a preliminary injunction against Michigan's 1931 abortion law. Now, this Judge Elizabeth Gleacher, granted this injunction. So, what is an injunction? Well, you may be surprised to learn that an injunction does not actually pertain to a law. An injunction is an authoritative warning or order. In law, specifically, a judicial order that restrains a person from beginning or continuing an action, threatening or invading the legal rights of another, or that compels a person to carry out a certain act to force restitution to an injured party. So it restrains a person. I see nothing in there about a law. So an injunction has been made against this law. Let's see what Merriam-Webster's dictionary says. See if it's any different. Okay. So, a writ granted by court of equity whereby one, like a person, is required to do or refrain from doing a specific act. Again, not relevant to a law. So, we've got this injunction. It will probably continue for at least a few months. We'll see how long it goes. I'm not exactly sure how long the injunction will last. But Democrats are scrambling right now to try and make abortion illegal. What is this? This is totally photoshopped in there. Oh no, that's a foam hand. Okay, that looked totally photoshopped. My body, my choice. I mean, of course, unless you're getting a vaccine or you want you want people masked. So I'm looking at pictures right now for my podcast listeners. Reproductive rights are human rights. Well, I agree. Reproductive rights are human rights. And you can have as many babies as you want. You can reproduce as much as you want. You just can't kill the baby. So let's see. Some of these arguments. I dream women will one day have the same rights as guns. The same rights as guns? That doesn't even make sense. I don't even know how to. The same rights as guns. Guns don't have rights. So I dream one day that women will have no rights. I don't think that's specifically pro-abortion. I think he wants women to have no rights, to just be objects that men use for self-defense. I don't know. I guess pro-abortion arguments are really strange sometimes. My body for the last 93 years. Except for, when you had to get that vaccine. Let's see, more arguments. RBG sent me. My body, my rights, my privacy. Oh, RGB sent me. That's weird. So she's talking to dead people. Interesting. My vagina is, I think it says, more regulated than a gun. Nope, it sure isn't. You can have sex with whoever you want. I am not a host body. Nobody's making you be a host body. Nobody's making you have a baby. We're just saying you can't kill your child after you conceive it. Keep your rosaries off our ovaries. Okay, I'm not Catholic, so actually a lot of the pro-life arguments are not religious arguments. We can put a little thing on you. It's called an ultrasound, and we can see the life in there. So it's not specifically a rosary. Yeah, that's funny. So they're arguing that it's simply a religious argument, and it surely is not. Shut up, old man. Wow, that's a good one. That is a heck of an argument from this lady. Shut up, old man. Okay. Abortion is a woman's right. Where? In the Constitution? Show me. Because it doesn't say anything about abortion in the Constitution. It says that citizens of the United States have a right to life. There is no sign big enough to list all the reasons we are here. Well, you could try. I mean, we've gone through a lot of reasons that people are at this march, and I haven't seen one that was convincing yet. Women's rights are human rights. My rights, my choice. Again, no, you have all the rights you want to have a baby. You just don't have the right to kill it. So this was a march, obviously, downtown Detroit. We're just going to continue on here because this show is not going to be super long. Actually, I don't even know how long I've gone right now. My clock says 15 minutes. I know it's been longer than that because I started the show at like 11:10. So let's see. So Planned Parenthood has this injunction. Abortion is kind of almost illegal in Michigan. It's going to be very soon, unless the courts and unless the judicial and the executive branch get what they want and destroy the legislature. So this I thought was interesting. Ottawa Area ISD Board of Education. So we've got Miss Carol Slaw. We've got Mr. John Simeon. I almost said something else that wouldn't have been appropriate. Mr. Randy Shipper, Mr. Rick Dernberger, and Mrs. Robin Afric. By the way, I didn't almost say something inappropriate because I just wanted to degrade him. I almost said something that would have been inappropriate because his name looks slightly inappropriate. It's Siemion. So that that could be pronounced as something that, like, at first glance I was just like, I don't know if I can say that name right now, and then I looked closer and okay, that's fine. So this is the one that is particularly concerning, Mrs. Robin Afric. I just moved the whole thing over. I wanted that over here. So Mrs. Robin Afric is also I'm going to the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. So Robin Afric, diversity, equity, and inclusions director. She has so far not responded to me. I will be emailing her and calling her until I get a response. But this is the same woman, as you can see. Robin Afric. Look at that. So, what does the DEI office have to do with the Board of Education? Well, I think we all know. I think we all understand why the DEI office exists. We've had some arguments from some Republicans that maybe the DEI office is a good thing, and that their implicit bias training is helping to make our county more inclusive. Well, this reporter is going to be on their implicit bias training. I'm going to actually take their implicit bias training, and I will be reporting on all of it as long as they give me access to it. If they don't, if they refuse to give me access to it, I would hope that Ottawa County would be a little concerned by that. So if you want to see the results of that, you're going to have to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. You will see all of that stuff. We are out of time. Well, we're not out of time. We're out of topics for today. So yeah, again, I follow all of this stuff because it's real boring, and I know not everybody wants to follow it. But we need to know what our government is doing. The mainstream media isn't going to tell you what you want to know. They're not going to watch these board meetings. They're not going to tell you exactly what's going on in your district, in your county, in your state. They're going to tell you what they want you to know. They're going to spin the narrative so that you are convinced to do what they want. And that's really all they're going to do. So, with that, we are done for today. Again, if you want to follow me, you will be getting all this information, and it will hopefully be useful to you. That's what I want. Any suggestions, anything else that you want to know about, email me, send me something on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, leave a comment, tell me what you want to see. I will be following all of those things that I showed you at the beginning of the show. I will be following all of the races. And once again, for Ottawa County, for Michigan, and for freedom, I'm Adon Don, and this is the Holmes Politicast.